Welcome back to Behind the Caution Tape. I'm your host, CrashLit. Today I'm coming to you from Alaska due to being on trip, but that does not stop me from doing my podcast. Hopefully, if I apologize, the audio is not as good as normal, but I'm just going to do the best with what I got, considering where I'm at. Let's get into it. So, women's basketball's had a big week. Before we get into their March Madness selection, I'd like to announce that USC and South Carolina have announced a two-game series called the Real SC Series. The first game will be in Los Angeles this on November 15th, 2025. And then a year later, it'll be in Greensboro, South Carolina. Exactly 1 year later. So, battle for the real SC. I think it's going to be a great series. So, I'm really, really excited about it. And Jazzy Davidson earned her fourth Player of the Year award for the state of Oregon. So, really excited to have her on the team next year. Now, let's get into the selection. The 28-3 Trojans got number one seed back-to-back years. They'll be the fourth team overall in the Spokane Regional, and they will host the first two rounds on campus. So the first game is against number 16 UNC Greensboro, who's 25-6, on Saturday at noon. Game will be shown on ABC. Trojans will host it at Galen, and with a win, they will face the winner of number 8 Cal, who's 25-8, and number 9 Mississippi State, 21-11. On Monday. Time and TV still TBD. And I think overall with these games, I think they're both winnable games, but UNCG knows how to win, and even though they're 16th, they will be ready to play. Like they're going to come fired up. So USC's got to come ready. And then with a win, they'll face former Pac-12 rival in Cal. So USC head coach Lindsey Gottlieb will face her former school, and also the Trojans will face former guard Kayla Williams, who transferred to Cal after graduating from USC last year and is in her final season of eligibility as a grad student. So two big games to start the bid for the national championship. I'm really excited for both of these, especially because I will be back in time for them. So really excited to be at March Madness and just see what a great environment it is going to be for the Trojans. So cannot wait for it. Men's basketball, meanwhile, took part last week in the Big Ten tournament as the 14th seed. They won 97-89 over 11th seeded Rutgers in double overtime on Wednesday, but then the following night fell 76-71 against 6th seed Purdue. So Desmond Claude led the way with 28 points against the Scarlet Knights, and USC did lead by 11 at half, but allowed Rutgers back in, hence why the game went to double overtime. But it ultimately took USC 2 overtimes to get the job done. Against the Boilermakers, Claude led with 18 points. And while USC had the lead at times, a combination of sloppy play and bad calls hurt the Trojans late in the game. So USC will finish the Big Ten tournament with a 16-17 overall record in Eric Musselman's first year at the helm. But their season is also not over because they will take part in the College Basketball Crown that will run from March 31st through April 6th. And USC's first opponent will be against Tulane on April 1st at 8 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 at the MGM Garden Arena. So it'll be part of the College Basketball Crown, and I think it's going to be a really great tournament for USC to just, get all their younger guys playing and really just help get opportunities. And the other big thing this team needs to do is retain key players, and the two that come to mind are Wesley It's third and Desmond Claude. They will both have eligibility. It'll also be time to start integrating guys like Elijah Arenas and the incoming freshman into the team. So I've got a really lot of confidence in Muss here. And even though obviously the season was frustrating at times, one thing I've definitely stood by is we as fans needed to be patient in year one. And I think that became really evident down the stretch. But I think next year's going to be a lot better. Football, meanwhile, had their pro day. 15 draft-eligible players took part to showcase their skills to representatives from all 38 teams, so wishing all those guys the best luck in preparation for the 2025 NFL Draft. So a big congratulations to track and field with the men's indoor team taking home the national championship, bringing home banner Natty 137 to the University of Southern California. So the NCAA indoor championships were this weekend on Friday and Saturday in Virginia Beach, and USC was looking to make a statement after a stellar performance in the Big Ten championships. So men, as I said, won the indoor championship. Women took third. And then no male athletes won an individual, but on the women's side, Jazz DeFran won the 60-meter dash with a PR of 7.09. And this is, I think, the best what USC director Quincy Watts said. And I quote, "We have been dealing with adversity all season long. I'm just so proud of them. We had scoring opportunities in so many events. Even when we faced adversity, we never gave up. They kept fighting. That's what we do at USC. We fight on." End quote. So with the indoor season complete, USC turns its attention to the outdoor season. And it'll start with USC at home hosting the Ron and Charlene Alice Trojan Invitational from March 21st through 22nd. Action for both days starts 11. The first day will be at the Colic Throws Center in Wilmington, and the rest on Saturday will be at Allison Felix Field on USC's campus. So USC looking to start outdoor season strong after a very incredible finish to the indoor season. And once again, congrats to the men's team for bringing home the indoor championship. Swim and dive has had a lot going on. Last week, their divers took part in the NCAA Zone E diving championships in Federal Way, Washington, from March 10th through 12th, with Shang Fei Wang, Laurent Gosselin Paradis, Robert Greff, Moritz Wesseman, Kate Miller, and Grace Lee all competing, and with Gosselin Paradis, Greff, Wesseman, Wang, and Miller all qualifying for the NCAAs. So up next is the women's swim and dive will take part in the NCAAs from March 19th through 22nd in Federal Way. It'll be shown on ESPN Plus. The men's will be a week later, so we'll talk about that next week. And for the women's, Miller will be joined by Caroline Famous, Caitlin Dobler, Ashley McMillan, Claire Tuggle, Mackenzie Hodges, Justina Kozin, Mina Abraham, Basilissa Winaya, Ella Ristic, and Gigi Sessaville. Soccer, meanwhile, in their spring schedule, faced the Japanese All-Star team on Saturday at Pepperdine. No scores reported. Men's golf is currently taking part in the Fight On Alumni Challenge in Scottsdale at Whisper Rock Golf Club from March 16th through 21st. I think it's a good opportunity for them to get practice before resuming competition very soon. Women's golf, meanwhile, takes part in the Battle of the Bell today against UCLA, so got to show up and be ready to take down UCLA at the Palos Verdes Golf Clubs because it should be a very good matchup. So 4's down. Men's tennis, meanwhile, had their dual match against UCLA postponed. That was supposed to be Friday due to weather. No rescheduling announcement has been made yet. So USC still sits at 8-4 overall, 2-0 in conference. Up next, they'll go on the road to take on Northwestern, who's 9-7, 2-2 overall, on Friday at 4, and Illinois on Sunday, who's 7-8, 2-2, on Sunday at 10. First Big Ten road trip. USC needs to come ready to play. Women's tennis also took part in Big Ten action, getting a 4-3 win against Washington on Friday and a 4-0 win at Oregon on Sunday. So USC got the doubles point with Grace Piper, Emma Charney, and Jana Hossam winning their singles matches. And against Oregon, USC also got the doubles point with Imi Haddad, Grace Piper, and Emma Charney winning their singles matches to clinch the duel. USC now sits 8-2 and 2-0 overall. They host Michigan State, who's 10-5, 2-2 on Saturday at noon, and then a day later they'll face Michigan, who's 11-3, 4-0 at 1. So Big Ten home duels against good teams. USC needs to come ready. And then lacrosse, meanwhile, sitting at number 21, beat Marist 21-5 at Dignity Health Sports Park on Saturday, but then lost to number 10, Johns Hopkins, 17-11. So the 21-5 win against Marist, Maddie Dora led with 5 goals, and USC pretty much dominated the game all the way through. Dora also led with 4 goals against the Blue Jays, and while USC scored first, Hopkins got 6 in a row before the teams played pretty equal after that. So USC sits now 7-2. I think it's a likely stay in the 20s range. 7-game win streak snapped. And congrats to Dora for hitting 100 goals versus the Blue Jays. All remaining home games for the team will now be at Dignity Health Sports Park, and up next they go on the road to take on Michigan, who's 5-3, 0-1 on Thursday on the Big Ten Plus, and then at Ohio State 3 days later is 8-0, 1-0, also on Big Ten Plus. So first road Big Ten matchups, good test for USC to prove they belong in the Big Ten for lacrosse. Beach volleyball, sitting at number 4, took part in the FAU Beach Invitational on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, they beat Florida Gulf Coast 3-2 and number 15 Stetson 4-1. Saturday, they beat host number 13 FAU 4-1 and number 20 Georgia State 5-0. As competition progressed, USC's pairs continued to play, which shows a lot about promise heading deep into the season. And they now set 15-3, may move up, especially after if they can win the TCU duel. So tomorrow they have two duels at Rivera Beach in Florida. They'll face number 3 TCU at 8 a.m. And then after that, an exhibition duel against Palm Beach State College at 9:30. So TCU is a big match for the Trojans to prove they once again are one of the best teams in the country this year. Men's volleyball won the Outrigger Invitational with wins over with a 3-1 win over Penn State on Thursday, a 3-0 win over Ball State on Friday, and then host and number 3 ranked Hawaii a 3-1 win on Saturday. So Dylan Klein would with kills with 10, 16, and 20 respectively each night, but other guys like Sterling Foley and Johnny Dykstra stepped up big to help USC collect the 3 big wins to help bolster the Trojans' resume, especially the Hawaii one, which had much tighter sets than the previous 2 matches. Team's now 16-0 overall, 4-0 in MPSF play, and they get a week off before resuming conference play against GCU on March 28th. And then USC doesn't leave SoCal again until the NCAA is in Columbus. That includes the conference tournament. So USC, this team has a chance to be very special and should move up after ranked wins this weekend. Women's water polo now sits at 21-1 overall, 1-0 on the season. Likely to stay at number 2, I guess, and went 4-0 at the Aztec Invitational. On Friday, they beat number 12 Princeton 15-9 and Bucknell 18-7. A day later, they beat number 8 Harvard 17-10 and number 16 Michigan 18-7. Emily Osmus led with 3 goals against Tigers. Ava Stryker, Maggie Johnson, Tilly Kearns led with 3 each against Bucknell. Kearns led with 5 against Crimson, and Stryker, Osmus, and Kearns each led with 4 against the Wolverines. And in each game, USC just took control early and didn't really look back. So up next, the Trojans resume MPSF play on the road at Cal, who's 13-2, 1-1 on March 22nd at 1 p.m. before hosting Brown, 11-10 a day later, non-conference action at 1 p.m. Both games watchable on overnight.com. Finally, we'll talk about baseball, who lost 11-6 at Cal State Fullerton in the rematch on March 11th, and USC had opportunities to score more, but the Titans had a big 6-run 7th inning that put them up for good. Then they took 2 of 3 against Michigan over the weekend. They won 7-4 on Friday, won 4-3 on 15, but then lost 11-0 on Sunday when they were run ruled after 7. So Kane Hunt and Avery Covarrubias were crucial in game 1. A solid 8th plus Caden Aoki on the mound helped USC win game 2, but game 3 was all Michigan, and the game ended on run rule after 7 innings. So USC now sits at 11-7 on the year, 2-4 in Big Ten play. And up next, they play tomorrow at Arizona State, who's 14-6. That game will be at 6:30 on ESPN Plus. Then against Nebraska, who's 7-11, 1-5 in Big Ten play, in a 3-game series at Great Park from March 21st through 23rd, with first pitch at 6:30, 2-1. 6:30 game is on Fox Sports 1. The other 2 will be on Big Ten Plus. USC needs to take advantage of non-conference and former Pac-12 foe Arizona State to get a good marquee win. And Nebraska's a good opportunity to get back on track and get wins in conference play. So last week I just went 0-1. My lone game I went to was the baseball loss at Fullerton. That puts me at 77-25 on the season, 289-107 all time, and 4-5 at baseball. And also because I'll be going to basketball, I'm now 14-1. I'm 14-1 at women's basketball. So my plans for this week, and this just runs through Sunday, are women's basketball on Saturday against UNC Greensboro, and then baseball on Sunday against Nebraska. And obviously it'll be at women's basketball against Cal or Mississippi State next week, but we'll talk about that on Monday. So that's going to do it. Thanks again for tuning in to Behind the Caution Tape. Check out my website, CrashLit.com. I'll see y'all next week for next week's Monday Rundown, and fight on.